bike, so it gets a bit busy. So anyway, my name's Carthy. I work in the fit studio up here. I'm not in the shop floor anymore. So I just work up here. I do 2 fits a day. I do one at 10 o'clock and one at 2 o'clock. It takes 3 hours per fit. I'll talk you through the fit and what we do. So if you were in the market for a new bike, we would build your bike here. Okay, so whether it be a track or one of those Gants that Derek sells in Cycle Zone, or we sell, or a Specialized, or a Vitus, or a Cube, any bike at all, I can build your bike here. So if you're unsure in sizes, we can certainly try before we buy. So if you're thinking of Mark's going downstairs, or Thomas is going, I think you're a 58 and I think you're a 56, and you get on this bike and get on that bike, and somebody's got a pile of money to spend and you're going, it's a guess. That's where mistakes can happen, and the guys are trying to do their best. What we can do here is I can build you your bike. That's what we're going to do with you tonight. We're going to put you on whatever bike you want. It's your new bike, so you can imagine being on your new bike. So we fit you here if you're in the market for a new bike. If you're not in the market for a new bike and you have a bike, then it makes my job easier. Then I lift this bike off, throw it to one side, and I put your bike here. Then I fit you your bike. There's no point in me fitting you to this and then putting you across on your bike and giving myself a 5-hour fit. Okay? So if you have your bike, it's easier for me because that's what we have to make fit you at the end of the day. So that's a bit of what kind of happens when you come in here. You contact me, you book a fit, you come in and see me, I send you an email, get to know you, get to know what all the stuff you have on your bike. You fill in an email for me and then we get up and going. So when you first come in, it's like coming to see a physio in a way. We do a full physical assessment, which takes about 45 minutes. We check you from head to toe. So we start off, at your toes. So we're checking forefoot angulation. So we're checking your toes to see which way your toes fall, in or out. We check your arches. We check your knees. We check your hip flexors. We check the width of your saddle. So measure your backside. I can't do that, so I'm measuring the face to do it. I can share that. We get you to touch your toes. You get to see if you can ride that bike. There's no point you coming in and saying, I love that S-Works Fender or something there. And you can only do this. And you can only do this. That's not the bike for you. You have to be able to do this and look up the road. So we got to see what we're working with. That's me fitting you to the bike and not bolting you to the bike. So it's working with it. The bike, we got to make sure we don't have any broken collarbones. So I get you to do a Mexican wave and all this carry on. Make sure you're all square, because straight lines work for me. If you stand a bit like this here, I have a bit of work to do to try and bring you in. And trust me, have you any injuries? And he does this, and I go, you're shitting me. All the titanium rod, injuries. So he sits on his bike like that. So I'm not a miracle worker. I can't make you. I'm only a bike fitter, I'm not an architect. So I can make you as good as possible on the bike. Out of 170 bike fits since I opened in March, there's probably 1 in 30 people who would get all green numbers, and we'll talk about numbers and retool technology later, but there's 1 in 30 people that you can get perfect. There is people who like Matty Taggart, who rides for a French team with him and me. He sits twisted in the saddle, one knee slightly in front of the other knee, but we know that. I can't untwist him. He has to see a physio. I'm only a bike fitter, so I can certainly help him the best of my ability. If you have tight IT bands and bad posture or bad flexibility and you're a lorry driver and you get out of the lorry and you do this every day, you're not going to be that flexible, especially in your hamstrings. So you need to see a physio. So physio assessment, then we'll pop you up in the bed and we'll look at your cleats and we'll see whether you ride your bike like Roger Aiken, where he stands like this here. But he doesn't ride like that. He rides his bike like this. So if I put your cleats on to run out the front door, the front of your toes, then you'll be riding your bike like this, with your knees out. So we want you to do this here, because your bones want to do this. Okay, so we look at your feet, then we put you in the bed, and then we do some stretches, really try and hurt you. We check your hamstrings. Hamstrings need to be, your knee angle, needs to be between 35 and 40 degrees. Okay, so if you are setting yourselves up and you want to do it yourselves, that's where you're looking. If you have tight hamstrings, then you need to be lower, around the 40 degree. If you have tighter looser hamstrings, then you need to go higher. back angle. So we'll bring this knee right up to your chest and we'll work to your back angle. So we'll not have you riding like this here the whole race. If your back angle is 120 degrees, then we'll bring you up to 100 because you can ride like that in a race for a long period of time. Yeah. The numbers on retul are the numbers that you're meant to be at. If you want to sit up like this here on your bike, that's absolutely fine. That's the way you ride your bike. I'm not going to say no because the computer says I'm not going to put you down there, yeah, because it's not for you and it's not for me anymore. Okay, we look at your ankling. We make sure that you can ankle the same way when you're pedaling. So we get you to drop your toes forward and back. Then we'll check your leg discrepancy. I'm going to check your leg discrepancy, so we're going to get you changed and we're going to jog on into the bike fit a wee bit. Yeah, you can strip here if you want. Have you shorts on?
Yeah, I'm have a top.
Have you shorts on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'll take that away.
Just shoes off, aye?
Yeah, take your shoes on, socks off, and I'll run through a wee quick fit, yeah? Any questions? I know it's all mad, yeah, it's all a lot.
So is it only if you feel you need something done?
It's the best money you'll spend.
I don't feel I have a lot of bother at the minute. You know, real worry.
What was your sit bones?
What, sorry?
Width is your sit bones.
What are they?
The bony bits of your backside, you leave bits in there. And then when you sit in your mum's name, do that. Yeah, the wee bony bits.
What are they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that was me when I was growing up. So I raced bikes forever.
Right.
And I walked into the shop and I bought a saddle because you had that saddle. And I bought the saddle because I went, you know what, that looks nice. What saddle have you? That's the best saddle I've ever had, Lance. Is it? Then I go and buy one. His sit bones about 100 mil. Mine's 125. Yeah. My kid's sit bone is 100.
Well, when I do get a sore
And
bone
he rides a 130 sit bone.
after about 100 miles.
Okay, so we'll measure your sit bones, which are these bits.
Right.
Yeah. And we'll measure those. I've never rode a saddle as wide as I ride now.
Because of that?
Because of that, I don't have a dodgy hip and a bad back no more.
Because of that?
Well, I don't know, but it's all connected. Yeah. So that wee song, you know it better than me. Yeah, that whole connected. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, you're all connected. So if I have a sore knee, it could be coming from this side. Okay. That's your sit bone. I'll measure those and get the right saddle for you. If you want a soft saddle, you'll go to DFS and buy a soft saddle. Yeah, my saddles aren't soft, but they support your back. They're supportive saddles.
What do you make of the carbon saddles? Like there's few boys riding carbon saddles.
Those are the right width.
Oh, the right width, like.
Yeah. My sit bone's 125. I ride a 155 saddle. All my saddles in my garage from growing up are 130. I have 2.5 mil either side to sit on. It's a bit crazy, on it. Yeah. But we didn't know about this because my dad said, "Man, you need to be like this here, and the saddle needs to go up to here, and you need to go like that." That's as much as my dad told me, but my dad didn't tell me that I rode my bike like this here. Like the wind was pushing me from left to right. Then I had a sore hip about 5 years ago, up until I started doing this. I was able to fix myself. So, because I'm sit twisted on my bike, the saddle height was fine, but I was sitting twisted on my bike. When I sleep in bed, I sleep like this as well. My body wants to do this here, without standing up in the posture. Your skeleton wants to do that. Yeah, so now I don't ride my bike. Like the wind's pushing me from left to right. I'm cleated up, shimmed up like this, and pushed out like this, and I now ride straight up and down. Yeah, and that's what I can do in here. I can look at you in greater depth and do all that. Sit bones as well is a big player. So what we'll do is we'll get Junior to jump up in the bed over here. We'll swap places. So yeah, the fit is most important before you do anything.
Even if you don't feel you have any problems?
Yeah, because I can make it better.
Yeah.
And the before and after photos I'm going to show you later on. People who've been riding their bikes 8 years, ride 60, 70 miles on a Saturday and Sunday, and then I move their saddle about that much, and about that much, and you see the posture just completely change. A narrower saddle will give you more of a hump on your back, instead of sitting in that saddle, and you get a flatter back. Okay, so I need to get up to the three sofa here, so you can see I have no room.
Can I ask you, sorry, You've got like your tri bikes or your professional race bikes, you've got your sort of sportive, your cyclocross, your mountain bikes. You do a different fit for all of those?
Yes, except for cyclocross and road. They're both the same.
Right.
So knee over spindle. This is a spindle, yeah. So if I type in triathlon, it will give me a bigger knee over spindle. If I type in TT, it will give me more numbers to work in. Road, it will give me different numbers. Mountain bike, it will give me numbers to work on. But I'll get back on the numbers near the end. I'll kind of run through a quick BG fit is what we do first. And then the marginal gains is starting him up later on and putting him on TV. Okay? Yeah. So I'm trying to cover.
Does it take favours for this, does it?
I can help that. Yeah. So when I put you on TV and you see yourself riding your bike and you see your thigh hitting your belly, you'll go, Lance told me to leave that last sausage alone. If you want me to keep your hip angle, close your hip angle.
Oh,
yeah, we'll find out in the bed what your back angle can do. Okay?
Oh,
So you come in, we talk, we listen to you work in a bike shop. So we know that you're on your feet running around all day. So your hamstrings, your IT, your flexibility should all be fine to somebody sitting at a desk. Okay? So how we get you to sit here? Yeah, because you're coming in off the street, I try and get you to put your feet on this right away. And this checks your arches for me. So without good arch support, when I ride my bike, without good arch supports in, my knee does this. Yeah? That's me pushing down the pedal. Yeah? I want to go in. Yeah? Because when I come back up, my knee goes out, it's nice and loose, and then when I push down, my knee collapses in the way. That's the way I'm made. It's okay to do this. That's the way you're made. Yeah? So I'm trying to help that because I want you to ride your bike, not like me, I want you to ride your bike like this, as best as we can. Yeah, so if you're riding your bike like this here, I'm coming out, and in, and out, I'm trying to stop that. And the same with this. Going out the way, I'm trying to stop that as well. So first of all, we measure your feet, then we'll get you to lift your feet off the pad for me. So this tells me what type of arch he has. So it tells me that he's going to track in the way, and quite a lot. I'm going to try and do this to his foot. Yeah, I'm going to try and get rid of that because his arch is falling in. Yeah, so we want him to pedal in a straight line. So if you get anything out of this and don't want to book in for a fit, which is absolutely fine, come and get this done. Come and get your backside measured. Come and get the wee things done. Because you all need these. This is to do with arch support. If your foot was like this, yeah, flat, then you would need red arch supports. He needs blue arch supports. If his foot was like this, then he would tell me when he was doing a feed hold leg bend later on with me, he'd be doing this. Yeah, because he's in a big pair of high heels. Yeah, because he's only got them 2 contact points.
And what problems would that cause not having any?
Lateral movement in your knee.
Right.
So this part here is to do with foot beds and forefoot shims. Okay? That's your knee problem, left or right pain. Yeah, so it could be here, it could be here, here and here. That's what foot beds do for you and proper arch support. Here, pain here, would be the saddle too low. You imagine coming up and pushing down, up and pushing down, saddle too low. At the back, saddle too high. Yeah, right on your tippy toes. Okay, Kelly.
Very similar to running, isn't it? Where you sort of open your underpinning and sort of right.
Yeah,
you know, I never would have thought that was cycling.
Yeah, so you
kind of all new.
Yeah, so with the guy meals upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't actually think we're going to ride bikes. Yeah, so we kind of messed up his theory. Yeah, he meals for walking and running. Yeah. So when you walk, it's heel, your arch drops as your metatarsal button hits the ground, your toes spread, your knee tracks in, and then you do this wee dander down the street, don't you? Yeah, because that's what we do. Yeah, your arch flaps is in, and away you go. I want to do this. For that to go nowhere. Okay? If he doesn't have good arch support, that's what happens. It all falls in or falls out. That's the easiest way probably of explaining it all.
I've heard it's more money's better well spent on doing this rather than a more expensive shoe.
Yeah.
Which is
You can put them shoes and arch supports in any shoes. You know, I had a pair of Mavic shoes because Will taught me into buying a pair of Mavic shoes. My background's more mountain biking, and I went to Gran Canaria when I had the time off. and I rode my bike every day with my son, and I had a lovely pair of Mavic shoes because they were all told me to buy them. They were for the bin. Yeah, I kept getting hot spots, because what was happening was my arch, every time I pushed down, my arch was collapsing, then I tightened my shoe, then my shoe circulation stopped my foot, then my foot went numb. So that's what will help by putting those insoles in. Will stop you getting hot spots as your foot going numb. People think your feet going cold, they're actually going numb.
I get that.
Yeah, so arch supports. Okay? So then we look at your forefoot angulation as well. So if you're coming in the way, and I've already put the insoles in, and I've already put the cleat out on lateral. So underneath your cleat there's lateral movement, left or right. So if you have a narrow stance width, then you want to push your cleat out to bring your shoes in. If you stand a bit like John Wayne, yeah, you put your cleats in to put your shoes out. Okay, so we know that he's still pedaling, we've got good insoles, and he still comes in the way. Yeah, I want to build up then underneath his big toe with some shims. And how we do that is we use this wee device here, and we get you to stand up and turn around, put your left knee here, and your right knee there. Okay, Sunday socks. Okay, and we pop that down here, and we see his foot turns in, yeah? Just about there. So it tells me, grab a seat there, Michael, that he stands a bit like that. Yeah, so he should track in more, even though we've got the insole in, that his big toe still wants to go down the way, and he still wants to fall in. So you use these here. The orange ones go underneath your big toe. There's a 1.5mm spacer in there, and then a 3mm spacer is the two together. They go inside your shoe and under your insole to try and do this. If you ride like this here, I'll be looking to bring your knees in. Then we'll use the yellow ones to bring your knees in. Okay? And then you use your pedal washers as well to create a bigger stance width. So without seeing me, you kind of don't know what you're doing with these here, because I'll be able to sit with a laser and my eyes on the cameras and show you what way your knees go, instead of somebody going, you'll wreck somebody's knees. Yeah, so that you can't buy these with these, you buy these by themselves. Now you can do it in the shop floor with the guys, but there's no point getting these unless somebody knows what they're doing with them. They can cause you injury. Okay, so then we look at, we know what, and I make this wee plan up here, not plan, it's a 13-page document that you'll get in your fit. So we move on to this here. So up on the screen, if you just want to look up for me, or here on the laptop. So we ask you about your injuries. Got no injuries, yeah? We ask you about your cycling background. So for people new, this is very important. Then I know back angles, what way to get you, and the type of rider you are, and the job you're doing, whether you're sitting all day or not. Then we're going to measure the sit bones, okay? So this is the after the insoles. Saddles is really important because it's contact points. Yeah, contact points, feet, saddle, and then reach in that order. Don't worry if your handlebars are too wide for you at the end of the fit. You know what to buy essentially. Yeah, won't make that much of a difference, but long term it will. It'll stop you getting back pain. Saddle, you need to get the right saddle, but insoles would be my first thing for any lateral movement, and then buy a saddle that fits, and then buy the bars that fit. So we use this. This is called an archometer. Yeah, archometer. Yeah, that's just what it's called. You don't get this nice ass when you're in London talking, I guess. Okay, so it's just memory foam. Yeah, you sit on this here. Yeah, and there's a measuring device on the back. I can't see it. I'm not able to see that. Yeah, I use my measuring tape. Yeah, if I'm squinting all day at that there, I have no eyesight. So you sit on this here with the bony bit to your backside, then we'll measure the backside and we'll tell everybody whether you're a big arse or a wee arse. Okay? All this information I gather on you, just on that, is between me and you. The only other person who would ever see this information would be Christian the mechanic if he was building you a bike, but he'll only see the bike sizes. He doesn't need to know anything about your history, medical problems, the width of your backside, your shoulders, your chest, none of that. Okay, so we get you up and we get you to sit on this. Hold on. Okay, so pop your feet up there. Is it on your saddle?
Does this work if you're wearing padded shorts? You do.
Yes, it does, but depends on much pad as well. So it's actually quite good to get this done before you get changed as well. Okay, so you put your hands down to the side and underneath for me. I know it's a wee bit sore.
It's like nowhere.
And then just squeeze one out. Oh, that's a boy. Shocking, isn't it?
Right,
Okay, jump up first. Alright, so that's the bony bits of his backside. Yeah.
That's a big arse.
We've actually got. I'll do it again,
I'm
but.
going to say it's big too bad, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. So you got the same. I would get you to do this 3 times. If we got the same number twice, I would say happy days, we're going. Well, if we got 2 different numbers, I'll get you to do it until I got the right numbers. So 125, so you're the same sit bones as me. Yeah, we've got the same arse turn around. Yeah. We've got the same arse. The biggest arse I've measured so far is young Eamon. You know young Eamon downstairs? He's 6'10". I don't really care if I tell you or not. That's 150. Yeah, he's 25 no bigger. Well, he's 6'10", size 15 feet. Rides a size 64 road bike, which is still too small for him. The seat post does that. Yeah, it's pretty mad. Again, because this is specialised in body geometry, they're not going to tell you what bond tracker saddles you use. But a 138 bond tracker saddle is the same as a 143 specialised saddle. So here is all the measurement sizes, okay? What type of rider would you be? An aggressive rider or a sportive?
Nah, it's 14.
Sportive rider. So the wee black dude here, yeah?
Aggressive.
It's your aggressive rider. So that's the guy who doesn't want to talk at the front of the group. Yeah? Doesn't want to say, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? He's beating himself and he's half wheeling you because he's a big long stem. Yeah? You're going, alright then? Yeah, yeah. So,
That's alright.
I cut your stem. Tighten your brakes. Put your tires down.
Killing us all.
Okay, and the red saddles here, the red guy, this is the red guy who wants to be round the lock and enjoy cycling, yeah, and be able to talk at the front, yeah, and not something. Anyway, specialised being specialised, they're only going to tell you specialised saddles, yeah, they wouldn't advertise chain reaction saddles, certainly not. So we would discuss the type of rider you are. Most people, most men are around 120 to 130. Me, I use a 155 saddle because I'm pretty antisocial when we go out in the bike. But for you, 125, I would think about starting to use a 155 saddle. Yeah, that will give you better support on your lower back. That's a 155 saddle on there as well. Okay?
That's quite wide for the
It's the widest saddle I've ever used. 120? Yeah, so you're 143 still on a guy who wants to sit up.
Right,
So
yeah.
it is a bond, I know because bond trackers numbered their saddles, and their 143 is very similar to their 138 is very similar to our 143. So a couple of mil. Just different ways of measuring it. You just measure the widest part of the saddle. Yeah? The telling is 155. Yeah? Your sit bones are 125. So you'll sit there, and your tailbone will sit there. Your undercarriage sits here. Yeah, so it does that. It's 1.5 centimeters shorter, this saddle, so it's an aggressive saddle. It cuts off quite early, and this slit here is for blood flow as well. If you do suffer of any numbness at the front or anything falling asleep on you, women or men, then this is a super wee saddle. It's called a power saddle. Power being power, flat out. This is only for the guy who wants to ride aggressively all the time. And it's actually 3 centimeters shorter at the front, so nothing at the front area would ever go near the saddle. So yeah, on the front here sits off the front of the saddle. Okay, men and women. Yeah, your undercarriage sits here, sit bones sit here. Okay, so if you do get discomfort, you kind of all know what I'm talking about. Gets a bit sore sometimes and uncomfortable. That's the type of saddle. Yeah, exactly. So that's the different type of saddles that you do. There's more saddles out there which are for every different purpose. Yeah.
Just a matter of interest. These ones with the slit in the middle, compared to the solids.
Better. Yeah. Blood flow. Yeah. So when you doesn't fall asleep on you. Yeah. That's the only way to discuss it. 155 saddle is what I use. It's most people around that they should be using a wider saddle for more support. So they send the saddle all to the mechanics. Physics send all their saddles to Ampost, and the mechanic does this and wears all the saddles, and he puts the lightest saddle on, which is a 130. Yeah. Then the pro gets on. Yeah. and he sits on the saddle, and he sits like that. Yeah, because he's trying to sit on the saddle. He's clenching himself to get up on that saddle and push himself back to get the widest part. If you put a wider saddle on, his back goes from being arched to doing that. Yeah, it drops that much. It's pretty bonkers. So we move on through the actual fit process, and you get this on your fit report at the end. The fit report's like 13, it is 13 pages long. We know about your forefoot angulation. Then we get to see which way you stand. So as I told you earlier on, we get you to stand up around me, and we flick through the whole fit report. And we go through the whole lot. This one here is quite important for aggressive riders. Just in here. So just come up here. So get your hand in here, yeah? So we say I can't get my hand on his wings here at all. So it tells us that he can ride his bike quite aggressively. So he can ride, he can ride in the drops for a long period of time. If you're quite bony and you don't have much back muscle, you'll ride your bike up here. And you'll take all the weight on your forearms and your chest. Yeah? Instead of being dropped down. So this is the style of rider that you could be. Whether you can touch your toes, whether you can see up the road, whether you've got a broken collarbone, you're not sitting twisted in the saddle. This is for your cleats and setting your cleats up. So when I set my cleats up, my toes go out the way, but my cleats don't go out when I'm riding my bike out the way. They actually turn into my wee toe to bring my front of my toes in. Then we look at your saddle height, your hamstrings, and then we look at your back angle, and then we get you to see that you can ankle the same way. And then we check for leg discrepancies. 78% of the public have a leg discrepancy. That's how many people have a leg discrepancy.
What do you mean by discrepancy?
Saddle height. So in the lower part of your leg, yeah, 78, low. Get to see it all day long. In the lower part of your leg, called the tibia, from here to here. Anybody doctors? And not here, they know the fancy names of words. I always ask. Doctors are here because I ride a bike. Yeah, and they fix my face for the track. Yeah, so I'm not here for all those fancy names, yeah. I don't really try. I'm here to make sure you ride your bike and be comfortable. But I kind of tap in a wee bit to it. I have to stop and say, see the physio, okay, because I'm only a bike rider. So the lower part of your leg, here to here, if you have a leg discrepancy down there, then I would need to shim up the bottom of your shoe. Yeah, because when we put the numbers on you and I do your seat height later, that seat height on this side is going to be too high, and this one's going to be too low. Yeah, so we've got to put a shim underneath your shoe, or a stacker. These are called stackers, okay? So we need to sort that out for you, if that was a problem in the lower part of your leg. The most common one I get is in the upper part of your leg, the femur. Yeah, from here to here. If you had, this leg was longer than this one, you would probably walk fine, and you probably wouldn't see it when walking, but when you ride your bike, you'll do this. Yeah, and you'll be sitting twisted on the bike as well, because this leg's longer. 78% of you have this, yeah. A whole lot. I got to run with it all the way. I have to put this cleat here, the longest leg, the whole way to the back. This one, the whole way to the front. So you square you up in the saddle and bring your knees over the spindles together. Yeah, you don't need to stack anything. You don't need to do anything. You just need to do this with your feet. Fine. Yeah, so if you're having knee problems, this could be one of the reasons. Jump out of Rocky for us.
I also saw that about an inch difference in my legs.
You know whereabouts it is?
An inch?
Yes, he said an inch and a half. I didn't believe him. I said an inch.
Yeah. So is the femur the easiest one to sort out?
I think it's pelvis actually, and spine it sort
Yeah.
of originated from. So it's not necessarily the actual leg, but it's how I was.
Oh, you're giving yourself a leg discrepancy. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're sitting twisted on the saddle. So you're actually giving yourself one because you sit like that. So you're making this leg too short, too long, and this one. But I can fix it with a DFS sofa. You might have too narrow of a saddle, and that's letting you twist around. So you're giving yourself a leg discrepancy. So if I had done all my work the best I can to get you straight in the saddle, and your numbers on the screen later on say the saddle's too low on this side and too high on that side, I'll try and meet you halfway and say to you, this is why. I'll put my hands on your hips when you're riding your bike, and you'll be able to feel the rotation, and you'll be able to say, that's why that number's not 100% right, and I'll give you a physio card and tell you to go and see them, and they'll try and fix you. Yeah. Okay, so heartbeat check for leg discrepancy. So jump up the bed on your back and put your head up here. Okay, so we've done all that, we've run through everything, and we're probably coming up to the end. So the leg discrepancy and all that, all cool. So we grab you by the legs, and I'll try and trail you down the bed. Yeah, I'm putting my fingers on your ankle bones here, we push them together. Put my knee there, I'll try and pull you down the bed. If my thumbs do this, then there's something wrong. If my thumbs only do a wee bit, I'm pretty happy at that. Yeah, because if he does this, sit up, give me your hands and stuff. Try and help people up now, you're not that bad. This is what you're giving yourself possibly. Yeah. Like that there. That's a leg discrepancy. Yeah, so you might be sitting twisted and give yourself one. Alright? But we can do that by twisting you. But you can see here, I pull him down. Two thumbs are the same, two ankle bones are the same, so we know the lower part of his legs fine for saddle height. Okay? Lie back now. Then we bring your knees to your chest and put your feet down. Then we put finally joints here and here. We bring his legs together. Okay, and we're pretty good at that. Yeah? I wouldn't have a concern. So later on when I'm fitting by eye and I'm running the plumb down, his knee over spindle should be the same. If his leg was like this, lift up a little bit from it, then we would have a slight problem. And you see that right away. So again, I'm not an architect, I'm not interested in a couple of mil, because your body's smart enough to take that couple of mil out. But he could be like that. And then he's sitting twisted on me. Without doing the physical assessment and just putting you on a bike, that's mad. You have to do the physical assessment if you're going to get a bike fit done. So when you go home and you should set up your own bike tonight, look for the knee over spindle. So if you get this knee fine, and you realise that this one's in front or this one's in back, then it's to do with your cleats underneath, okay? Jump off this. So that's one of the major things. Quickly, if somebody came to see me, that's what I'll be doing quickly for you, to make sure that I'm doing my job right when I put you on the bike. And I'm not doing this later on. There's something not right there. But I didn't check. You have to do that. That all makes sense? Yeah. Any questions at the moment? No? I should have been there. Has anybody been fitted by anybody else? Or been to see anybody else? Other than a bike setup, which the guys do downstairs. The boys can do in Hannah's and everywhere else. There's a bike setup. Yeah, so the guys in the shop floor do a proper bike setup. You shouldn't be too far away. They just told you thanks very much. Tap in the back, feel like going there. Where was it going? There you go.
I've got bike and tuners and they're very good. They spent like an hour doing bike fit.
No, it was
or bike setup.
give me the seat and I took the bike.
Yeah, the guy down the wee room.
Remember the chair?
No.
Brendan,
Brendan
yeah.
rides with your motorcycling club.
Yeah, see I knew another guy in the store know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how they kind of got the bike set up.
Bike
for
setup.
I
And like a
thought they
few
would
free
have done like that.
bits and bobs as well.
Brendan, you think you have to ask for it? It's like 10-15 minute bike setup.
Yeah.
Gets
No,
you.
only spent an hour
Yeah.
doing it.
Well, that's good.
Both my bikes as well.
No,
Yeah.
there's one in the GCN.
Sure, you just look at me with I am big.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, this is a PR job to do this correctly. Bike setups are fine. I'm not interested in the bike setup because I might find too much wrong. So I kind of stop and just let the guys in the shop floor do it. If you want the whole thing. And then you can set your other bikes up from it, and it's free of charge. You come back and see me with any problems. And another bike, you're just paying per hour for the room. So it'll be £50 for a winter bike or a summer bike if we've already done all this. I don't need to run through everything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So it's not another 3-hour bike fit. It's really by the hour. So if you have one guy has a triathlon bike and he has a PT bike and he has a road bike, Roger Aiken just comes down to play on 170 cranks and 175s, and he just does it that way. So the first fit is the 3-hour fit, and then after that I'd be happy just to go by the hour. And so we run through all that, then we check your IT bands. Yeah, IT bands also is to do with forefoot angulation and whether you ride like this here or not. Yeah, not because they've got bellies. Yeah, their IT bands could be. So we get you to lean up, you know, like waiting for a bus, do you? I don't have bus news. We get you to lean up against the bed, okay, like you're waiting for a bus. Bring your right leg up to your chest and then throw you back on the bed. And let your back side hang off the edge of the bed. I'll take control of your legs. We'll drop one leg down at a time. It should stay like that. Yeah, it should stay like that. It should stay like that. It's okay if it does that. Yeah, then I know what I'm looking for. So if I have you on the bike with the proper foot beds, proper shins and under the toes, and you still track in the way, then you need to see somebody to sort out your IT bands. Okay, so you're probably the woman, the club woman to see on all that there. Yeah, now well volunteered. Thanks, Lance. So yeah, you need to see somebody that knows a bit more of me, okay? I can't stretch you and tell you what to do because it's out of my insurance. Okay, so we've done all that, we all know about you. Then we pop you on the bike. Well, we don't pop you on the bike. We'll have a look at your cleats first, and I'll tell you how good or bad your cleats are, and I'll fix your cleats for you.
They're actually stinging things.
Oh, you're a nightmare. Show us.
They're probably near worn out too.
They're done. I'm not even going to fix them. When you put your cleats on, where do you work?
They're slipping in.
Do you know where looking?
Whoa.
If you need cleats, call the John Hamill Cycles, Chapel Lane. Is it Chapel Lane? Hell. Oh, I'm not from this one. So your cleats are just randomly put down the middle.
Yeah. I just keep them going until they don't slip in. That's it.
Okay. So when you go home and you ask John for a set of free cleats to advertise, you want to put your cleats. If you don't have a leg discrepancy, put your cleats the whole way to the back. Yeah, it's called knee neutral. In the olden days, we used to think the widest part of our foot was across here. Yeah, you can see my wee pinky. It's doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, when we got toes and straps, when we started mountain biking, we put toes and straps on, and it just came over here. Yeah, and we bought our trail boots out at the Murray Sports, which is still there. That's all we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing. Then they brought out SPDs and cleats. We just put them in the middle. There was no float. We all had bad knees. Nobody knew what they were doing. The widest part of your foot is this way. Yeah? So if you put your cleats the whole way to the back without a leg discrepancy, see what happens to the wee pinky? You've got more power. Cleats ram them the whole way back.
That's right, going on, you're saying, right?
Yeah. So when you're sitting down, instead of riding your bike like this, you're able to ride your bike like that. With the forefoots and the shins and all the insoles, you're trying to get that foot not to move. Alright, so I'm just quickly throwing you. The guys in the shop floor would say, Lance, where do you put your cleats? This is really important. If you don't have a leg discrepancy, put them the whole way to the back. But on the shop floor, put them in the middle. Because you don't know what people's legs are doing. You could be causing injury. Okay? So what size of tracks do you ride? No, what size of track do you ride?
No, they're ready to focus.
You ride a Focus?
Yes. 54.
That's awful. Okay, so your bike's here. Then I would get you on. That's too big. Jump on anyway. Then I would get you onto your bike, and we would finish the full physical assessment. I would get you onto your bike, and we would then take a video of you on your bike. Okay? That's you on your bike. Perfect. Fits you like a glove. You can see the leg extension here. Yeah, you'll be that's the way you're meant to do it, mate. Yeah. So we would take a video of you riding your bike, and then I would take a picture of you riding your bike, and you would have a before and after, and we would be able to see the changes, and you would see you riding your bike like this, and then doing this in my fit, and making everything a bit softer. Okay? I had a guy called Hammer.
Yes.
Rides Maryland. His physio told him to ride his bike with his chest out. How can you ride 50 miles with your chest out? You can't. It's impossible. You want to do this. Yeah. I can't ride a 56 because my arms aren't long enough to ride a 56. I ride a 54. I ride a 56 back here, riding back to Lisburn. But if I go to the shop, I can do that. But when I go up to the Lisburn, I start to come back because it's the most natural position to be in. So I start coming back because your body wants to do that. So his physio would tell him to do that. I don't know. but we fixed them anyway. So this is where you would be, and we'll take a video of you. And